Gasho.
Even though he had every material thing he could desire, Prince Siddhartha Gautama was not satisfied with his life. After diligently practicing many different kinds of strict disciplines, including starving himself almost to the point of death, he realized that such extremes were not the way which would lead to a peaceful mind. Instead, he turned towards the middle path of meditation and sat beneath a pipla tree, making a firm resolution not to move from his sitting position until attained enlightenment. December 8th is considered the day that Prince Siddhartha Gautama became Shakyamuni Buddha. If this event did not occur, the world may have never known of the teachings now called Buddhism. Thus this day is shared by all Buddhists, regardless of sects or denominations, as a day of utmost importance. Since enlightenment is known as Bodhi in Sanskrit, December 8th is called Bodhi Day, and the tree that the prince sat beneath is referred to as a Bodhi tree, or Bo tree. The word Buddha means enlightened one. Buddhism teaches that all things have Buddha nature, or potential to become a Buddha. What is the purpose for becoming a Buddha? Buddha is one who has realized the universal truth and can see that the true nature of existence just as they are. As a result of attaining true wisdom and out of his deep compassion for all beings, Shakyamuni Buddha sought to spread the teachings that would enable all beings to cross over the ocean of birth-death. In other words, by sharing his complete enlightenment experience with others, Shakyamuni Buddha reveals that the true purpose for becoming a Buddha, that is living a true life of infinite wisdom and compassion. Because we are now able to receive this great treasure of the Buddha Dharma and Sangha, We observe this special day with deep gratitude for the many wonderful things that make our lives possible and enjoyable. In Gasho, Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sambuddhasam. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddha Saranam Gacchami. Dhamman Saranam Gacchami. Sangha Saranam Gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance.
Namandab. Busetsu Amida Kyo Shari Hotsu Nyoga Konja Sandan Amida Butsu Fukashi Kurok Toho Yaku Ashukubi Butsu Shumi So Butsu Dai Shumi Butsu Shumi Kobutsu Myo On Butsu Nyo Zedo Go Gasha Shusho Butsu Kaku O Go Kokusui Go Jo Setso Henpu Sanden Dai Sensei Kai Setsujo Jintsuko Nyoto Shujo Toshin Se Shosan Fukashi Gikurok Issai Shobutsu Shogo Nengyo Shari Hotsu Nambo Sekai Unichi Gato Butsu Myomon Kobutsu Daien Kenbutsu Shumi Tobutsu Muryo Jojin Butsu Nyozedo Gogasha Shusho Butsu Kaku O Go Kokusui Kojo Setso Henpu Sanzen Dai Sensei Kai Setsujo Jitsugon Nyoto Shoujo Toshin Zen Shosan Sanfukashi Gikurok Issai Shobutsu Shogo Nengyo Shari Hotsai Hosekai Umuryo Jibutsu Muryo Sobutsu Muryo Dobutsu Daiko Butsu Daimyo Butsu Hoso Butsu Shogo Butsu Nyozedo Gogasha Shusho Butsu Kaku O Go Kokusui Gojo Setso Henpu Sanzen Dai Sensei Kai Setsujo Jinko Nyoto Shujo Dosho Zesho San Fukashi Gikurok Issai Shobutsu Shogo Nengyo Shari Hotsu Hobo Sekai Uen Kenbutsu Saishu Onbutsu Nansho Butsu Nisho Butsu Momyo Butsu Nyozedo Gogasha Shusho Butsu Kaku O Go Kokusui Gojo Setso Henpu Sanzen Dai Sensei Kai Setsujo Jintsugon Nyoto Shujo Toshin Zen Shosan 不可思議空毒一切小物小語人形シャリホツケ法世界ウシシ物妙門物妙高物達魔物猛高物自法物尿税道合賀者修正物格王合国水工上節操偏風三千大仙世界雪上人根尿道症状等身絶唱三不可思議空毒一切小物小語人形シャリホツ情報世界無煩悩物食王物工場物高校物大円見物実際式法系言人物シャリ女王物法系特物権一切義物尿小未線物尿税道合賀者修正物格王合国水工上節操偏風三千大仙世界雪上人口尿道症状等身前症三不可思議空毒一切小物小語人形仏説阿弥陀経ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブガニシクドク平等性際同つぼ大心往生
As I was growing up, one of the things I tended to struggle with the most was adjusting to change. I always relied on consistency and routines to help me get through my day. And when things went differently than expected, even if it was in a beneficial manner, I would get upset or feel uncomfortable. My inability to handle change also extended to how I went about my day, only using one particular plate to eat dinner with, and only sitting at one spot at the dinner table. Even to this day, I still feel a bit odd if I'm not sitting on the left side of something, whether it's in a car, a plane, or at a table. My resistance to change wasn't only in regard to small routine things, though. I also disliked dealing with major adjustments in my life as well. The best example of this is in regards to when me and my family changed houses. To provide a bit of context, I moved to my current property when I was around 4 years old, and our initial plan was to remodel the house. Despite being cozy and welcoming, it was pretty apparent that I would quickly outgrow the space the house provided. Eventually we realized that it would be more cost-effective to build an entirely new house on the property as opposed to remodeling our old one. This meant it would take much longer to complete the process of building, and unsurprisingly, I got very comfortable living in my old house, despite the fact that I no longer had much space to store my belongings, and I actually got a concussion one year because I hit my head on the low cutoff of my bedroom floor while I was walking down the stairs one morning before school. Eventually, our new house was finished being built, and I finally had a nice room with tall enough ceilings where I wouldn't give myself concussions. However, despite all of the conveniences of living in a new house, one of my first thoughts was how my bed could no longer face the same direction in my new room because of where the door was. Instead of being grateful for suddenly being able to live in a new place with more than one bathroom and a room that could actually fit a desk and my other belongings, I was immediately thrown off by a couple of minuscule changes that I would now need to do differently. I had once again taken a major change for the good and allowed my distaste for change to get the better of me. One of the most prominent messages I had heard repeated throughout my years of attending temple was that of impermanence. Even though it was a message that I had heard the reverends and the Dharma school teachers often discuss, the idea of impermanence was something that I had always resisted throughout my life. When one of the biggest changes came at the beginning of this year, with quarantine and coronavirus, I reached a crossroads. This was my final free summer as I was heading into my senior year of high school, and unlike the previous one, I was no longer able to go to my job or see my friends. I was very close to spending the next 7 months camped out in my room playing video games with my friends and sleeping for 14 hours every single day. However, thanks to the teachings of the Dharma, and the support of my family, friends, Sangha members, and reverends, I decided to embrace the changes caused by COVID and all of the challenges that came with it. Because I was home most of the time, I began working out and running every day and started eating healthier. Organization and procrastination have always been things that I struggled with in the past, so I finally decided to start keeping a calendar, organize my things, and get work done without waiting until the morning of. Within only a couple months of quarantine, I had used a negative change in my life to positively impact it, and set up beneficial habits that I believe will help me throughout the rest of my life. Without this major negative change, there's a chance that I never would have found the opportunity to make the positive adjustments in my day-to-day life that I needed to. So while some changes may seem terrible, or come when you least expect it, it's important to understand the inevitability of impermanence and take on those changes with the mindset that you will achieve something good out of it. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Let us think of a lecture hall that is bright while the sun is shining, but is dark after the sun goes down. We can think of the light departing with the sun and the dark coming with the night, but we can also think of the mind that perceives lightness and darkness. The mind that is susceptible to lightness and darkness cannot be given back to anybody. It can only revert to a truer nature, which is its fundamental nature. It is only a temporary mind that momentarily notes changes of lightness and darkness as the sun rises and sets. It is only a temporary mind that has different feelings from moment to moment, with the changing circumstances of life. It is not the real and true mind. The fundamental and true mind, which realizes the lightness and darkness, is the true nature of man. The temporary feelings of good and evil, love and hatred, that have been aroused by surroundings and changing external conditions, are only momentary reactions that have their cause in the defilement accumulated by the human mind. Behind the desires and the worldly passions which the mind entertains, there abides, clear and undefiled, the fundamental and true essence of mind. Water is round in a round receptacle, and square in a square one, but water itself has no particular shape. People often forget this fact. People see this good and that bad. They like this and dislike that. They discriminate existence from non-existence, and then, being caught in these entanglements, become attached to them. They suffer. If people would only give up their attachments to these imaginary and false discriminations, and restore the purity of their original minds, then people, both their mind and their body, would be free from defilement and suffering. They would know the peacefulness that comes with that freedom. In Gasho, Namo Amida Butsu.
Dankeschön means thank you, we say in Germany. In France the children say merci, in Italy grazie. Arigato means thank you, we say in Japanese. Shei in Mandarin Chinese, Doge in Cantonese. Children round the world speak in many different ways. Thank you round the world is said in many different ways. We may go around the world and want to say thank you. If we don't know the words to use, what can we do? There's a universal way to show our gratitude. No matter when or where we are, it's always understood. Just put our hands together, smile and bow our head. For Gasho is the best way our thanks will be conveyed. Children round the world speak in many different ways, but thank you round the world now easily we'll say. With Gasho join our hands, let's all join hands and see that Gasho brings the world peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. May peace and tranquility prevail throughout the world. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. Yes, stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong, be kind and gentle to all, and think pure thoughts, say pure words, do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Metta. May all beings be happy. May they be joyous and live in safety. All living beings, whether weak or strong, in high, middle, or low realms of existence, small or great, visible or invisible, near or far, born or to be born. May all beings be happy.